Hello folks, we are taking up the miscellaneous exercise chapter 1, the part 3 this time. Last time we had taken up the question number 4 because it was a lengthy question. We had taken up 3 subparts and we had given it a halt. We are continuing with that in this particular video. It's a part 3 video. Now here we will complete the question number 4 and we will take up question number 5. Now, as we were doing, there were 4 equivalent statements that were given to us, and we were showing that one statement is equivalent to we were showing that given the first statement, we were proving the second one, given the second, we were proving the third, and so on. So we had come up till the stage where we have shown given the second, third is true. That was over. Now we have to take given the third, fourth is true. That is what we have to show. So let's see what we are supposed to be doing there. This is actually the third part in this subpart. Now what is given to us? Here it is given that A union B equal to B. That is given to us. Now we have to show, what do we have to prove? We have to prove that A intersection B equal to A. Now certain things, as we know, I was letting you know yesterday also that in order to show that A union B is equal to A, we have to do it in 2 parts. First part is that A intersection B is a subset of A and A is a subset of A intersection B. Generally, when we have got to show the two set is equal, one of the strategies, there are different ways of doing it. One of the ways of doing it is to show that one is a subset of the other and the other one is a subset of the first one. If both the things happen together, then they can be equal. So that is the strategy we followed in the previous question. Same way we are going to do it over here. You have got to show both these are holding true. If both these are true, then we will have these two sets getting equal. And generally among the two, one will be a natural choice. So by set theory it will follow. The other one you will have to prove. So that's how it will work. Now amongst these two statements which you have to show, A intersection B is a subset of A is natural. Why? Because an intersection is always a smaller collection as compared to the bigger set. So the first subpart here, A intersection B is a subset of A is kind of natural. So that we get it. In the second subpart, we have to show it. And always set theory subset, how we are going to show? Take the element from the smaller set and show that it belongs to the bigger set. And that's how we are able to show. So gradually let's start. In the proof, we'll start with this part where we know that A intersection we can write. We know that A intersection B is always a subset of A. It has to be like that because intersection is always a smaller collection as compared to the given parent set. So that is why this is there. So that part is done. Now you have to show that A is a subset of A intersection B. To show that A is a subset of A intersection B, we have a logic. We start with X belonging to A and then somehow show that X belongs to A intersection B. That's how you will get it as a subset. So for the next part, let's start with X belonging to A. Let X belongs to A. If X belongs to A, automatically it belongs to the union. It's but natural because union is made up of all the elements of A and B together. So if X belongs to A, there is no harm in telling that X belongs to A union B by set theoretic concepts. It belongs. Why we are taking A union B? Because we have a data about A union B, that A union B equal to B. So that is why we are coming across A union B. Because X is belonging to A union B, we are given that A union B is B. Indirectly it also means that X belongs to B. So we have X now belonging to B. Starting with X belonging to A, we have got X belonging to B. See, what has happened is we have started with X belonging to A and we have got X belonging to B. Which means that X belongs to A and X belongs to B both. We have got both the data. If it is belonging to both, we know it belongs to the intersection. So therefore, X belongs to A intersection B. Hence, we have started from here, we have reached here. Thus, starting from X belonging to A, we have reached X belonging to A intersection B. That's how A becomes the subset of A intersection B. This is what we call it as equation number 2. Now we have equation 1 and 2 where we are getting the subsets of each other, and that is how you will get A to be equal to A intersection B. So we can say that from 1 and 2 together, we are able to show that Therefore, A equal to A intersection B. So that is also done for us. A is a subset of A intersection B. We are gradually moving to the next part. And in the next part, that is the fourth part, we may have to show that in the fourth part it would be given to us that A intersection B is A. This is given to us, and we may have to show that you've got to show that A is a subset of B. That's much more manageable. A is a subset of B. Now we are using the same logic. We know that if you have to show that A is a subset of B, we start with X belonging to A. Somehow show that X belongs to B and your work is done. And for showing that X is belonging to B, we'll use this data. That's about. It's just that much. So let's take the proof. We start with let X belongs to A. Now, when X belongs to A, because we know that A equal to A intersection B, X also belongs to A intersection B. It's very clear from what is given to us. So therefore, X belongs to A intersection B. Why? Because it is given to us that A equal to A intersection B. Now, when A is belonging to the intersection, it means that it belongs to A also, it belongs to B also. So, if you want, you can write it elaborately or you can write directly. So, it means that X belongs to A, it means that X belongs to A, X belongs to B. So, X is there in B. That is what we want. Thus, starting from X belonging to A, we have reached X belonging to B. And that is what we want to show it, that's a subset. Therefore, A is a subset of B. So this way we have proved all the parts that is relevant to that question number, or that was your question number 4. This is how we prove the parts of question number 4. Quickly we take the question number 5 and then that's how we will be winding up with this part. Question number 5, let's quickly see what they intend to tell us and how do we go about doing it. The question 5 says, show that if A is a subset of B, then C minus B is a subset of C minus A. So let's quickly write what they say. In the question number 5, they say, they have given us that the given data is that A is a subset of B. They give us A subset of B and they ask us to prove. The proof to be done is C minus B is a subset of C minus A. They ask us to prove that C minus B is a subset of C minus A. Now we have nothing new to us. We know that when we have to show that C minus B is a subset of C minus A, we are going to start with an element in C minus B and somehow show that it belongs to C minus A, and that's how it will become a subset. So let's start right away. Let's take the element X belonging to C minus A. We are taking the X belonging here. Let this X belong to C minus B. What is the meaning of X belonging to C minus B? Means X belongs to C, but it will not belong to B. It cannot belong to B. That is the meaning of C minus B. So, this means that X belongs to C and X does not belong to B. That is the meaning of difference. From so many times, from so many exercises, we have been learning different interpretations for difference is there. Every time we are using that interpretation which helps you better. Now here this is what is going to help you better. So X belongs to C, but X doesn't belong to B. Now when X doesn't belong to B, we have done it in the miscellaneous in the question number 2 question number 2, that if X doesn't belong to B, it will definitely not belong to A. Why? Because A is a subset of B. It was done in the question number 2 and was taken up as a proof. Now, if X doesn't belong to B, it goes to the complement. If it goes to the complement of B, it is also in the complement of A. So if it is in the complement of A, it cannot belong to A. We have done that proof. So that is how we will have, it implies that X will belong to C. X definitely will not belong to A. Why? Because A is a subset of B. When A is a subset of B, if there is some element which does not belong to B, it will definitely not belong to A. That way, X belongs to C, but X does not belong to A. That is what we want. Whenever X belongs to C and X doesn't belong to A, automatically it belongs to the difference. So that is how X belongs to C minus A. What has happened? Starting from X belonging to C minus B, we have reached X belonging to C minus A. That is exactly what we want, and that's how we show that it's a subset. So we start with thus, starting starting with x belonging to C minus B, we have shown that x belongs to C minus A, and that is how C minus B becomes the subset of C minus A. And that is what we have to prove. That is all in this part. In the next video we take the next part. Thank you.